Hey, what's up everybody? It's Mike from Cornfield Customs and welcome back to the Cornfield Customs channel. So I've got some really exciting news for you guys, and some of you guys that are new followers or new subscribers haven't seen a lot of the 67 Mustang convertible. So I haven't really worked on it in probably over a year. I know it's been a little while, but the client had some life issues come up that were a lot more pressing than working on the car. So we worked out an agreement to where we just take some time off. He could focus on what he needed to focus on, and when the time was right, we would get back on the car. Well, that time is now, and I can get back to getting everything moving forward on this project. So here's the car. It is a 67 Mustang convertible. This might be a little recap for some of you guys, but for the new subscribers and new watchers, I figured I would cover some of this information, and I will drop links to some of the previous videos on this car. When it came in, it was a little bit of a mess, so we put it up on the fixture table here, designed a new chassis, so it's all 2x4, 120 wall, mandrel bent, got the body all squared up. I ended up, we put new fenders on it, new hood. I modified the hood. So the hood skin is a combination of a 1970 Mustang and the 67-68 hood. There is a video of that. Again, I'll link that into the description below and drop a clickable link so you guys can find that and watch what was done there. And like I said, it's full tube chassis, Mustang 2 style front suspension. I made the cross member, got everything all squared up. I put a new dash in there. And a lot of this stuff had been done already, but it was pretty rough, so we had to redo it again. Put new A-posts in, inner and outer, and you can see where they had kind of chopped this out and just they didn't really even overlap it to a factory seam. They just welded up what they could with little pieces. So I still have to rebuild all of this and that open piece there. But you can see that it's got the engine in it, which is a Boss 429, and the new Tremec transmission, all tube chassis, 9-inch rear end. So a bunch of work has been done on it, and you know, kind of with the changing of things, we're building a factory-ish style concept car, I guess you would say. So it's gonna have some of the best of all of these early eras of Mustang. Another thing we're doing is we're putting 69 taillights in the back of the 67-68 rear body panel. So I seamed in the center of the 69 panel, and you can see here that it's unfinished on this side. That's where we left off a while back. But on this side, I already reshaped and made the piece to dress it all up, and I still got to do the inner structure to hold the light in place, and then I will build quarter extensions. So all of this was done before the car came here, and I had to redo it to correct some issues. And one of the problems, here it kind of looks like I've extended the quarter with this weld seam, but that's actually a repair. They had come in, and instead of just leaving the factory spot welds here, they had came in and they had edge welded all of this, and then they had made a quarter extension to come out to the edge of the deck lid. And they made it out of like 1/8 inch plate, and they had welded it solid and then just ground the reveal line in there. So when I started digging into all of this to see what needed to be done to correct it, it was just a mess, and it was actually warped up into here. So I tried to figure out if I could just buy these inner pieces of the quarter extension, you know, that come out to the taillight pan, and they don't offer just this piece. I had to buy the full quarter. And instead of just, you know, drilling these spot welds out and putting in the new one, I decided I would fix the warping and damage that had been caused when putting this piece in. So I just measured up, cut the quarter off into a spot that I could easily get to, weld the new quarter cap on with the extension piece. So that's kind of where I left off, was in the back working on the taillights, the taillight pieces. You can see that everything's still screwed and clecoed together. But I still need to finish out this weld seam, finish hammering and dolling it. You can see I'd started, and then that's where we left off a while back. So I think first up, I'm gonna come in and fill all these cleco holes, get these dressed up this side, as well as finish up the driver's side here. So we're gonna do that. And I think that's a good place to talk about, because I have had a lot of people in the comment section ask about doing some videos on how to weld up cleco holes. I guess that's a struggling point for a lot of you guys. So that's kind of where I'm gonna start. I am super pumped to get back on the Mustang. It's been a while, so I'm gonna have to kind of refamiliarize myself with where I left off. Some stuff's finished, some stuff's halfway done, and then there's stuff that I haven't even started yet. This is a really big project, so it's gonna take a while, but I'm really glad to be back on it and making headway. So what I like to do, we'll do it without the welder on first, is I'll come in, this is an 1/8 inch hole, so that's gonna be one of the critical things, is you have to use the smaller 1/8 inch cleco. But I'll come in with the TIG torch and I'll wet the edge. So for you guys that don't know what that means, like I'll bring in the amperage a little bit and it'll start to liquefy the edge of the cleco hole. And once that edge is wet, I'll bring in our filler rod, and we'll use a 1/16 inch filler rod. I'll dip it in the edge and I'll increase our amperage real high. Real high is relative because I'll have the welder set at about 65 amps. So we'll come in, increase that amperage, get the puddle to form real quick, and we'll just loop it, filling with filler rod, and it'll close. So hopefully we'll be able to film that with this camera while I'm doing it and actually be able to see what's going on. But I figured we could at least talk about it before I get in there. Now with all our cleco holes welded up, I'm just gonna come back and dress the top of these just a little bit. That way we don't overstretch it and get that kind of swollen around there. So I'm just gonna knock the tops of the weld itself off, and then we can come back and either hammer and dolly it, or in this case, I'm going to use an ox planishing hammer just to make things move a little bit faster, and I can blend all of this out together. So we'll get to grinding, we'll use the ox planishing hammer, and I'll give you a little bit of information and talk about it after we get this planished out. So after running over the welded area with the Ox handheld planisher, I went ahead and ran over the whole thing with the shrinking disc. So again, I'm gonna reiterate for the newer people to the channel, what a shrinking disc is it's a large stainless steel disc that creates friction on the panel. So anytime heat is introduced into metal, it's going to expand, and then as it contracts, it's going to shrink itself. And how that works, it expands and it pushes into the colder area around it, shrinking the material, and then as it cools, it contracts. And in welding, that's what gives you your warp. But if you do it in a controlled way, you can do that and shrink high spots. So we had a little bit of waves going on, and there's still some in the panel. It's not 100% perfect, but we ran the shrinking disc over it to tighten everything up, any of that looseness, and help just tighten the seam up. And it's looking pretty decent. It's still a little wavy, but at this point we could probably just wait and just, when the high build primer is put on there, that'll take out the majority of everything. One thing I like to do is, let me grab this tool. This is nothing special. It is just a, it's just like a drywall putty blade. And I took the handle off, and then what I did is I put a Cornfield sticker on one side and a Made in the US sticker on the other, and this is like this dark blue color. But what I do is, hopefully you guys can see that, I can lay that on the panel and then angle it so I can see either the stripes or my logo, and I can move it around, and that helps me see where any deviations in the light line and the reflection is. It's similar to how PDR guys or paintless dent removal do it with the white and black bars, and it reflects on the surface. I don't have one of those, so I'm just using this, and that gets me pretty much in the ballpark, especially because stuff like this is going to be probably ground with 36 grit to give it some grip, wiped with body filler, blocked, primed, so there is going to be body work over it. I've talked in other videos where I don't do 100% metal finishing. The cost versus the benefit for me really isn't there. I try to get things to about 90%, sometimes a little bit more, but 90% gets you pretty close to where high build primer, block it, maybe come back with some spot putty in some small areas, but your filler is going to be extremely minimal. So I like to take it to about 90%, which we're almost there. It's a little wavy. I can see some deviations in the reflection, but I could sit here and nitpick all these highs and lows for a week to get this thing metal finished. And when it goes to the body shop, they're still going to sand it, grind it, and put filler on it. So for me, the juice isn't worth the squeeze in every instance to take it to full metal finish. It has to be a really special car with a special client that wants to pay for absolute metal finished products. So this one's pretty good. I just got to keep working down the quarter and get everything blended out real nice. And then I can move to the driver's side quarter and get it to this point, and then we can move on to the taillight area. So hopefully that gives you guys a little insight into kind of working out this weld seam, using the shrinking disc, getting your panel pretty close up to about 90%. So hopefully in this video you guys can see the reflections of the panel on its own, and then when I hold this this piece up here, and I can see the reflection. So I'm really hoping you guys can see that. Yep, I'm gonna get back to work. I might run a DA over this just to see how it looks in 80 grit, and then I will continue down and we'll jump to the other side. So I went ahead and ran over the entire panel with a DA, and you can see how nice and smooth and even everything looks with our light line there. And you can see kind of the ghost line of the weld and the Cleco holes, just where the filler material is a different alloy. It's gonna just leave you a little ghost line there. We can't feel it, but we can just see it because it sands out a little different. And I went over it with 80 grit and then up to a red Scotch-Brite on the DA as well. So I'll try to get an angle here so you can see how nice and uniform the seam is across the panel. So yeah, that's where we're at with this side. I still have to finish a little bit down here, but I'm gonna keep working and get the other side to this point and get these back corners wrapped up. Here's the other side of the Mustang quarter. So this would be the driver's side. It's mostly welded up and hammered out. I've just got some Cleco holes here I need to come back and address. And there's a little bit of a low spot here, so I gotta kind of push that back out. I slowly started working on that, but I think it's more of a stamping issue than any kind of effect from the welding, because it starts all the way back here and you can feel it kind of dip in right there. So I'm just gonna stretch kind of this low out and keep checking it with a gauge to get that brought out, and then I'll come back in and weld the Cleco holes. I also went ahead and wrapped up the rear taillight area on both sides. So this is a 67, 68 Mustang convertible, and the client wanted a 69 tail pan put in the car. And the problem with that is the tail pan on a 69 is a couple inches taller. So I had to come in, section all of that out, and place the center section of the tail pan in. Well, when I did that, I think you can see it here. This is the old shape of the 67, 68. This is the new shape of the 69. So I had to come in and blend that to look like a nice stamped fit piece. So I made from here over, and it comes over, in, and back out to meet up to the quarter panel, and got that all made, welded in, dressed out. So this side is done, as well as the passenger side. So the rear tail pan is pretty much ready to go in, but I am gonna leave this alone for now. I'm gonna keep going, get the deck lid fit. And I know what you guys are thinking, because you can see a sheet metal screw in here. And I did make a video on saying no to sheet metal screws. The reason I used screws in this place is I am working on fitting the extension caps. And if I have a Cleco on here, I can't fit that cap. And if I put the Cleco on the inside, then while I'm fitting up the taillight mounting brackets, they'll be in the way. So I had to just suck it up, use a sheet metal screw. They're not ideal in every situation, but sometimes it's the best option you got. So waiting on you guys to give me hate for the sheet metal screws in this video, but it is what it is. So I am pretty much wrapped up on this Mustang for this work cycle, and I have to jump on to the convertible, the 51 convertible, next week. So that's kind of where I'm at this point. So I'm gonna wrap this video up, call it good to go. And I want to thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Drop down in the comment section, let us know what you think of the new videos. Dom's on the camera, so he's really working hard to get the content and the edits right. And if you guys want to support what we're doing, join the members page. There's a join button right below here. Go ahead and click that, get signed up if you want to support this channel and what we do. If not, that's perfectly fine too. Just watching helps out so much. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video, as well as many of our others, and we will catch you on the next one.